Welcome to South Aussie Shooting Channel. This is our 4-drive series, and this is the instructions how to install the AMTS recovery points, and I'm going to read through them now. The recovery points are supplied as a pair and must be used as a pair with a suitable bridle. The direction pull during the recovery must be parallel as possible to the vehicle being recovered. All effort needs to be made to ensure that any object or material is removed from around the wheels and chassis so that the recovery forces are minimized. Through the use of recovery points, you will agree that the manufacturer will not be held liable for any damage to property or injury or death to persons. The following is for installation of the recovery points with the ARB bull bar. It may be easier to install the recovery points with the wheel removed. Removal of the bull bar is not required. Step 1 is loosening the bolts on the ARB bull bar bracket as indicated in figure 1. It would be easier to remove the side wing panels. Apply WD-40 if necessary. As you can see here, the insides of the ARB bull bar, remove the 4 or 5 bolts as instructed by me in my other video, and you'll have the opening to, and the next thing you'll need to do is there's a nut on the inside tail inside the chassis where the rear mounting bolt screws into. It looks like the photo below. Using fencing wire, create a hook similar to one in figure 2. As you can see here, it goes underneath the bottom and curves around the top and flattens out straight with a little bend in it as well. Step 3 is loosen the bolt on the rear mounting point enough not to have the nut on the tail fall into the chassis. Take the wire hook and insert it into the chassis through the rectangular hole further aft from the rear mounting bolts as indicated in figure 3. Use the hook to hook under the nut on the tail as per figure. This will capture the nut on the tail to enable extraction from the chassis. The trick is to shift the nut on a tail past the rectangular hole until the tail is accessible, then use needle nose pliers to grab the end of the tail and pull it out of the rectangular hole, as you can see here in figure 3. Four is loosen the rear bolt completely and extract the nut on the tail through the same rectangular hole. Needle nose pliers are required for the extraction. Remove the bolt on the lower mounting point of the ARB bull bar bracket. This is right next to the side of the wing panel. Bolt in step 1. 6. Place the recovery point alongside the bracket and loosely insert the bolt on the lower mounting point, and with the rear mounting point bolt prepared already, insert the supplied nut into the plate through the rectangular access hole in the chassis and slide it into the rear mounting point in figure 4. 8. Insert the bolt into the rear mounting point and do it up loosely. The nut on the plate will hold itself against the insides of the chassis face from spinning once it is getting done up. 9. Repeat the process for the driver's side. The only difference is that the splash guard in the washer bottle needs to be unclipped if required. Drill a new hole to enable the splash guard to be clipped back into the washer bottle. As you can see here, the splash guard, washer bottle, and there's a little clip that you might need to drill back up. There's the recovery point here. And 10 is torque up all the M12 grade 12.9 bolts to 142 Newton meters. 11 reinstall the wing panels. And 12 is cut off or bend up the wire from the nut on this plate to prevent it rubbing on the tyre at full lock. That is the completed recovery point, tightened up. And other instructions for different bull bars. These are instructions for the Sweden bar. And it says again, remove the wheel. I did it without it, so it's alright. So step 1 is remove the lower mounting bolt from the Sweden bar mounting bracket as per figure 1. Prepare the square washers so that there is one thick and one thin washers per recovery point. These will act as bases for the rear mounting bolt. It will make things easier if these two washers are attached by tape to the chassis side of the recovery point. 3 is to place the recovery point alongside the bull bar bracket and loosely insert the bolt into the lower mounting point. 4, with the rear mounting point bolt prepared ready, insert the supplied nut on the plate through the rectangular opening on the chassis and slide it into the rear mounting point. In figure 6, insert the bolt into the rear mounting point, do it loosely. The nut on the plate will hold itself against the insides of the chassis face from spinning once it's getting done up. And 6 is to torque up the M12 grade 12.9 bolts to 142 Newton meters and then cut off or bend the plate to prevent it from rubbing, as in this picture here. That's all you need to do for the Sweden bar. These also used in a Prado 150 series, and also has the instructions for Prados with TJM bars. So if you have a TJM bar on a 150 series, this is what you do. The TJM bar has 3 bolts per sides, AM12, B and C M10, and bolts B and C engages a nut plate dashed line inside the chassis. The nut plate is reused for the installation for the recovery points. The installation requires the removal of the bull bar wing plates. This figure here, nut plate inside chassis, inside these two, B and C and A down the bottom. Two is remove bolts A and C only. Do not touch a bolt B at this stage. This bolt is being removed, bottom bolt is being removed, and the B one needs to stay in. It says using the supplied hex bolt, feed it through hole C loosely, ensuring that the thread engages the nut plate inside the chassis. photo here. I'm placing the bolt inside with the recovery point on. Remove bolt B and then swing the recovery point up to all 3 holes line up. Insert the M12 socket head cap screw the SHCS into hole A loosely using the fencing wire. Manipulate the nut plate inside the chassis until a bolt B M10 SHCS can be installed. Finger tighten bolt B. Placing these inside, and finally remove the hex head screw into hole C and insert the M10 SHCS hole into the C hole. Then torque all bolts M12 HT 12.9 to 142 Newton meters and M10 HT 12.9 to 81 Newton meters. And this is the finished product with it all tightened up, similar to the Prado 120, as it just uses the front and rear one, and this one stays without it on. So hopefully that helps you out with the actual instructions, or you can watch the actual installation video on my Prado 120 series. It should be a similar setup. And thanks for watching. Subscribe.